What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube with another edition tonight of The Drive-In. Now, I wasn't sure whether to call this The Drive-In or one of my tales from the fort, because this is a movie that's not necessarily super new, but it's not old either. I'm talking tonight about the very popularly acclaimed Hush from Netflix. I know this came out, it was a South by Southwest film in March, and then it premiered in April on Netflix, and it was much ballyhooed for a long time, and I finally got around to watching it. So tonight I'm going to drive in, I'm going to review Hush. There are going to be spoilers, it's been out now for a while, so I'm going to have spoilers in this movie review, so if you have not seen it and want to see it, pause this, go watch Hush, and come back and check out this review. So real briefly, just want to get into some things. I like this overall. I thought it was very good overall. It wasn't the 100% on Rotten Tomatoes that I thought it was going to be. When I see reviews and hear things like that, I had heard nothing but good things about this movie. And by and large, it was very good. Those reviews are accurate. I did enjoy this overall. But there were some things that I didn't like. So I'll get into both real quick. So, first of all, this was directed and written. It was basically a two-man show. It was Mike Flanagan and Katie Siegel, who plays the lead character in the movie as well. It's a two-man show here. So Katie Siegel co-wrote this and was the lead actress. And Mike Flanagan was the director, producer, co-editor, screenwriter. Did a lot of things for this movie. And, I can see why it was a big hit. I mean, for a two-man production in a small company, in a South by Southwest film, this was really cool. Basically, the premise is Katie Siegel's character is a deaf mute who had some sort of meningitis at age like 11 or 12 and is now unable to speak or hear at all, so she gets by on other senses. She decided to move out to a secluded place, a isolated house in a far away country-style neighborhood. They do show some good character backstory that didn't really come much into play. They showed stuff with her sister via FaceTime, her neighbor who borrowed her book because Katie Siegel's character is a published author who's working on her second book, which makes sense with the seclusion. I know myself. But so the character was really cool. There were good layers to her. She had some good funny moments. The signing and stuff was really good, was really authentic. Basically, so the writer character is out by herself living an isolated life as a deaf mute. And this random guy just comes up and wants to kill her. He kills the friend who comes to visit her. And he just kind of stalks her. He realizes that she's deaf and can't hear. So he just kind of pops up and creeps around and stalks her and tries to kill her. And then it becomes the other senses overloading and trying to keep Katie Siegel's character alive. And the other character, the bad guy, trying to kill her. So it's a home invasion stalker thriller. And it does a good job for the most part. The house was cool. It was built nicely. They use the windows very well in this movie. You see a lot of windows and a lot of her trying to see where he's at, him trying to find her. It's a cat and mouse game where both are good at hiding and kind of playing this back and forth hide and seek game. So the character, the psychological aspect was good. I really enjoyed, like I said, the windows, the use of the house overall. Her climbing out on the roof and using different ways to try and escape and try and use weapons. And him being the psychotic killer, he had some really nice ways of making himself known, for this being an hour and a half and the main character can't really talk. You would think it'd be hard to do, but they use some really good stuff with the other senses here. The nice use of lights. They use the iPhone technology, which was cool. So that was done well. And all in all, the acting was powerful. I mean, Katie Siegel was really good here. This is her first role, I believe, first national role. It said introducing Katie Siegel. She was excellent. There was no letdowns in the movie acting-wise. The other character was pretty good. A little flat at times from the murderous character. Again, I suck at names, but the guy who was the antagonist here, he was pretty good. He was a little monotone once in a while, but was solid. But the lead lady was very, very good. Some things I didn't like. I didn't really understand that there was really no backstory as to why this killer was killing. I guess he just was looking in random places for secluded people, I guess, and saw she was an easy target. They never got into his story at all. We don't know why he was a killer, what happened in his life. We just see a couple slashes on his bow and arrow. He's an archer. We have no idea why he's an archer. It's kind of a cool weapon, I guess, and they used it well, but you really don't know why. They don't tell any story really about him at all. They also get into the backstory of the main character having this ex-boyfriend who ended badly. They go to Skype each other back and forth, and she keeps ignoring his calls, and I guess things ended badly. And I always thought he was going to show up at the end and be the hero. I thought he was going to come and save the day because they had mentioned him several times and shown his picture on the FaceTime and all that. And they never got back to it. He never showed up or spoke on the phone with her. They never got into his story or why it didn't work. They never talked much about the family after the first 10 minutes. So they didn't get a lot of character stuff here. The characters that they did have in the film did a really good job, but they just had a lot of gaps to fill in terms of the story continuity and the reasoning behind it. I love home invasion stories as long as there's a reason behind it. It seems like, this was creepy, but they didn't really have any sort of motive. But again, it is realistic because these happen all the time. And again, I did really enjoy the acting in this. Particularly what stood out to me in a particular scene was when he was about to come in to the house, and she writes in her blood. He had carved earlier on the window some words for her, trying to scare her out. And she gets shot in the leg with an arrow, and she writes in her blood, like, "Do it," when he says he's going to come in, and she puts "coward" on the window. And she just stares him down. So for being this shy kind of deaf mute, she's this strong, empowered female, which is well cast and well done. I really enjoyed the message there. And that character was the only character I really cared about in the film. So if they had put the effort into the others they had put into her, I would have liked. Two other characters died. I didn't really care much or know much about them. The girl who was the friend and her boyfriend eventually die. The cat is named Bitch. The cat's sort of there. That's kind of some comic relief or whatever. That was okay. But again, so strong points. The use of windows, the house, the way they amplify noises. They use the light and the smoke detectors toward the end nicely. They used her lack of hearing at times nicely. The acting, especially Katie Siegel, was really good. But again, lacking character depth and lacking any sort of story and motive as to why this was happening. It just sort of ends and, eventually the home invader, the intruder, dies. She kills him, which is well done. But then they do use that crossbow again nicely and all that. But again, besides there was good tension and there was a good sense of cat and mouse, the good haunting game back and forth, and they built the thriller well. But again, you don't really fully care about a lot of the characters because they don't give you a lot of the story. So I did like this overall. I would give this a solid 7 range. I'd go 6.5, 7. I'd give this a 7 as my final overall grade. Many good things to like about this. Some strong acting, a good basic story, right to the point. There's no big twists or big confusions or anything. So if you want to just kind of watch a mindless, kind of fun home invasion thriller with some good scares and some good moments, this is definitely worth watching. I would say go ahead and check this out. But if you want intricate plot twists and deep characters and all kind of backstories that intertwine, you're not going to get this here. So solid overall, but not the home run that I expected. So this is a 7. But again, if you guys want to check this out, I recommend it. If you have seen this, what do you think? What do you think of the review? What do you think of the movie? What else should I review on Tales from the Fort for past movies and The Drive-In for current movies? And again, guys, stay scared, lock your doors, enjoy the movies. This has been The Drive-In, and I will see you guys real soon.